So I had a little bit of a glitch on my iPad, and therefore I'm actually going to be using Word and a very simple recording software to record this video. It's a bit primitive, but we'll try our best and we'll make it work. Okay, so this is lesson 2.5. I'm going to be adding and subtracting polynomials. So here's one example for an addition, and then we have two examples for subtraction because subtraction is a tiny bit harder. And then we also have the textbook homework at the bottom. Okay, now first question, how do you know when you're adding versus when you're subtracting? Well, here's a polynomial right here. Notice that it's in its own brackets. It looks like a trinomial, 1, 2, 3 terms. And here's another one, another trinomial. Okay, and if you look right in between both of the trinomials, there's an addition symbol. So we are adding these two separate polynomials together. Versus, say, when you have, say, one right here, and I think you already know where I'm going with this. This is a binomial, by the way, because there are two terms. Notice that the binomial and this trinomial that I'm doing in blue are they're subtracting each other. They're separated, first of all, by sets of brackets, but right in between is a minus, and that's why we have subtraction. So all you're looking for are the sets of brackets, and then what symbol is right in between. Again, this one is going to be a subtraction. Okay, now you kind of deal with the addition and the subtraction the same way, except subtraction has an extra step. So why don't I teach you the addition, then we will do the extra step for the subtraction. For each of the questions, you're going to be clearing the brackets because it looks really complicated right now, especially with those walls, the brackets. And so what you want to do is you want to get rid of them. Then you're going to be able to combine any of the like terms together. And your answer should look a lot simpler than this. And that's why it says to simplify. Your answer should look much more simplistic. Okay, so let's go back. Our first goal is to clear the brackets. It's actually quite simple when you're adding polynomials because you literally just copy and paste, and then you delete any of the brackets. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and delete, and delete, and delete, and that's it. I cleared the brackets. So notice that the red looks exactly the same. The blue looks exactly the same. There's the yellow plus in the middle, but no brackets. I added the equal sign in front because we just want to show that each line afterwards is going to be equivalent to the previous line. Okay, what I'm going to do to combine the like terms is I'm just going to get rid of all of the different colors so I could add new colors and the highlighting. Okay, so now it's all neutral. All right, now we got to highlight which ones go with each other. So this one we'll do in, say, oh, I can't highlight the whole thing. Okay, so let's just change the colors of the font then. Orange with orange. See, the Y squares, right? Highlight the ones that are just Y. So this guy and this guy. Yeah, those two go together because they're just Ys. The 6 is going to be on its own because I don't see any other numbers that don't have a Y behind it, so that's the only constant. And I think the Y cubed should be its own color as well, purple, because it also doesn't have like a partner in crime in that expression. Okay, now some people like to write an additional step. This step is not necessary, but some people really like to see like the same colors beside each other before, whoops, okay, so I should have deleted that. Like orange with orange, green with green, and then I personally like to put the one with the highest exponent at the very front. Okay, because I kind of like to put it in descending order, where the highest exponent is first and then the second highest and so on. So this step is not necessary, it's just putting all the colors together in the same, like side by side, so that we can put them together in the next step. So this next step right now is mandatory, okay, and this is the final answer. So the purple is by itself, but you can combine the two oranges. Positive 1 minus 3 is going to give you a negative 2 y squared. Okay, the negative 3y plus 1y is going to give you a negative 2y. And then the plus 6 is by itself. So this is the final answer. It is definitely mandatory. This step is the one that is not mandatory. But notice that the answer does look a lot simpler than the original question, which is what we meant to do by simplifying. And that's it. So why don't we try those steps again, but with the subtraction you do have an extra step. You are still clearing the brackets, getting rid of the brackets, and you are still combining like terms, but you have an extra step where you're going to have to change the symbols of the terms being subtracted. So let me explain what that means in a second. Let's kind of clear the brackets the same way that we did the addition. So I'm going to copy all that, I'm going to put it right underneath, paste it, see, exactly the same. Put an equal sign at the very front. All right, now here is that extra little part. You must change the symbols. So this is what that means. If you have a polynomial that doesn't have a negative sign in front of it, you can take off the brackets and nothing will happen. Okay, so notice that the red is the same as the red. But if you have a polynomial, see the blue, but there's a minus in front of it, the job of that yellow minus is to change the symbols of everything inside this bracket. So if you're going to take off and delete these brackets, you must change the symbol. So this was a minus 4, you're going to now make it a plus 4. That was a plus 4, you're now going to make it a minus 4. And this was a positive x squared, you're now going to make it a negative x squared. When you do that, you've done the job of this yellow minus, and so we delete it. It's finished. You shouldn't see the yellow minus at all in your final step. It's literally just the red, exactly the same, and then the blue, but with opposite symbols. Do you guys see that? So no yellow minus, just the red exactly as is, and the blue opposite. And that's how you clear the brackets. Okay, the last step is you're going to combine anything that can go together. And so I'm just going to put everything into a neutral color and start highlighting the ones that can go together. So 4x squared minus x squared. The negative 4x looks like it's probably going to be alone. And this one is a constant, and so I'm going to put it together with the other constant. Okay, again, this is a step that's not necessary. Just putting everything kind of side by side. I don't know why I keep copying. I should just paste things. And I don't know where that extra negative came from. That's weird. So the green beside the green. Just like that. And then the black at the end. And so let's find the final answer, which is combining those colors. So that's going to be 3x squared all right, negative 4 and positive 4 is going to get rid of that completely. It's going to be a 0. And the black is, we didn't touch it. So that is our final answer, 3x squared minus 4x. All right, the last one, let me see if I can get some space here. It's probably easier if I just write it down here. Now I'll only just do a new page. Okay, we'll start down here. All right, so it's probably easier for you to see if I color coordinate like I did before. I have a trinomial subtracting another trinomial. Okay, and again, the steps are copy, paste, put an equal sign. All right, now any of the sets of brackets that have a minus in front, which is just the blue, not the red, you're going to delete the brackets and it's going to be an extra step. Okay, so because the red set of brackets doesn't have a minus in front of it, you can delete those brackets and nothing will happen. So the red will stay the same. But because the blue brackets have this yellow minus in front of it, the job of the yellow minus is to change all of the symbols inside the blue. So what we're going to do is that's going to become a negative. This is going to become a positive. This is going to become a positive. And now we're allowed to delete these brackets and the original yellow symbol. Okay, so what you should be left with is the red exactly the same, no yellow, because the job of the yellow was just to change the symbols of the blue. All right, now that the brackets are all off, you can then put together any like terms. So it looks like this one, 5x squared, can go with the negative 3x squared. And then you can have the 2x with the 4x. And lastly, the constants, the 1 and the 2 can go together. Okay, here is the unnecessary step, the one where you actually take the different colors, put them right beside each other when they match colors, something like that. And then the final answer is putting those similar colors together. So that's going to be 2x squared. Okay, 2 plus 4 is going to be 6x. And then 1 plus 2 is going to be 3. I hope that was somewhat easy to follow. Again, the textbook homework is right here, page 157, number 1 to 5, and that was adding and subtracting polynomials.